it has to have the internet. It has no way to do all that work without the internet.
What's up? Today is Sunday, April 17th. It's Easter Sunday, so happy Easter, everyone. Today is day 55, I believe. Gary and I got shuttled from Woods Hole Hostel to about 20 miles north of Pearisburg. Well, actually 22 miles north. And we are going to slack pack again. Today I actually have my normal pack on, but there's like next to nothing in it. So I left all of my stuff in our shuttle driver, Honey Bun's van. And once we get back to Pearisburg, he's gonna meet us and drive us up to the hostel where we're staying tonight, which I believe is called Angel's Rest. So another 22 mile slack pack day. And we'll be back in town later on this evening. And then I think we're going to take a zero tomorrow in Pearisburg because it's supposed to get cold again. And it's supposed to be raining all day. And I think there's another slight chance of snow. So we decided we're not doing that. So let's get these 22 miles out the way today. So I just want to take a minute to talk about how much I absolutely loved Woods Hole Hostel. Like, everyone talks about that hostel and how great it is. And it's known as one of the most iconic hostels on the AT, and it definitely lives up to the hype. The owner, Neville, is incredible. I absolutely love her. And that's no shade to any of the other hostels I've stayed at. I've loved so many of them, from Above the Clouds to Chica and Sunsets, Mountain Harbor, the Quarterway Inn. They've all been great. But there was something about Woods Hole that I could have stayed there for several days. And I definitely would love to come take a road trip at some point in the future and visit all these hostels again and see everyone again. That would be so cool. So I might just do that maybe next year. But the one thing that I do want to mention, and this is not a complaint at all, but if you have moderate to severe pet allergies, like if you're allergic to dogs and cats like I am, just be forewarned that every hostel has dogs and cats. Almost every shuttle driver has a dog in the car when they pick you up. Even Honey Bun today showed up and there was a dog in the back, and I was like, oh geez. Yeah, my allergies have been on fleek pretty much the entire time I've been out on the AT, staying in hostels and stuff. Hey, how you doing? Excuse me. Yeah, because of all the animals that are around. I think the only hostel that I can think of right off the bat that didn't have any animals was Chica and Sunsets. But yeah, if you do have pet allergies like myself, make sure that you have whatever allergy medication you need, because you will run into pets literally everywhere you stay, unless you just opt for hotels and stuff like that. And again, that's not a complaint. The animals have all been super cool and really nice, and I guess they add to the atmosphere, even though I'm not much of a pet person. But yeah, there have been moments where I've had some allergy attacks and I didn't have any medicine, and I have the whole like itchy eyes, runny nose, eyes turning red, sneezing uncontrollably, throat starts closing up because my asthma gets triggered. So just be aware of that. Oh, and one more thing, Neville, the owner of Woods Hole Hostel, asked me to spread the word to southbound through hikers who are going to be coming through this year to make sure that you stop at her hostel. And I definitely recommend it to anyone, whether you're northbound or southbound. You definitely want to check that place out. There's yoga at 4 o'clock in the evening. They make smoothies for you. The dinners and breakfasts are amazing. The sunrise every morning, which you can see right from the bunkhouse. It's everything. So that's all for now, and I need to make sure I'm going in the right direction because I don't see Gary anywhere. So since we are slack packing today, we are hiking south, which you can see at the bottom there. So there's the 19.6 back to Pearisburg. And then tomorrow, I'll be going about 16.5 miles to get to that Laurel Creek shelter, which you can see at the sign on top. So the reason that Gary and I are slack packing is because this next section of trail from Pearisburg to Daleville, Virginia is a lengthy one. It's about 93 miles, which is about 5.5 to 6 days. And I'm not about to carry 5.5 to 6 days of food in this frameless pack. And the section is pretty tricky because the shelters are pretty oddly spaced out, and there are really no options as far as places to stay between these two towns. There's only one hostel, which is 4 Pines, and that's around mile 705, and we're at 637. Well, we will be once we get back to Pearisburg, but it would easily take about 3.5, 4 days just to get to 4 Pines. And I've heard from pretty much everyone in the area to avoid staying there at all costs. Now, I don't know much about what goes on at 4 Pines, but what I've heard is that it is not a great atmosphere. It is not the cleanest, and you basically just get the bare minimum. A bunk in a garage, which, if you can picture a bunk in a garage, then you can imagine what that must be like. And I've heard that the owners are not the nicest people, which I can't state as fact because I don't know for myself, but that's just what people around here have been telling me. And the only other town between Pearisburg and Daleville is Katabi or something like that. And apparently there's really no places to stay there. And the only restaurant that was there got shut down because of the pandemic. So that's not really an option either. So we are trying to knock down or chip away at this 5.5 to 6 day stretch by doing some slack packing today. So after today, I think that I can get to Daleville in about 4.5 days. And I'm much more willing to carry 4.5 days of food than I am 5 or 6 days. So I think we're making the right decision to slack pack here. But even with today being a little easier, the next few days are still gonna be a little challenging because I'm gonna have to do at least 15 miles for the first 3 days. And then on the 4th day, I think I'm gonna try to push for 23 miles to get into Daleville on Friday evening. And once you hit Daleville, I saw that there are plenty of places to stay, plenty of restaurant options, an outfitter. So just got to get there. And then we'll be finished with this southern section of Virginia. And we'll start moving into the next 350 miles, which take you through central and northern VA, where there are fewer hostels. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Right now, I'm just focused on today and this 2-mile climb that I'm currently going up. I am about 7 miles in so far today. Gary is a little ways ahead of me right now because I keep stopping to talk to all the hikers going northbound who I would usually be around. But yeah, the next 9.5 miles or so are a relatively flat ridge walk. And as you can see, I just got up on top of the ridge, so pretty much done climbing for the day. And I was just told by a couple hikers that in another 1.5 miles or so, the trail becomes pretty smooth and I won't have to deal with so many rocks today, which I'm really happy about. These rocks really take a toll on the feet day after day after day. So whenever you get a chance to walk on like a pretty smooth surface, it is always a blessing. So I'm gonna see if I can knock this out fairly quickly. I don't want to keep stopping and talking to everyone I pass, but I just can't help it. So yeah, another 9 miles walking along the ridge. Hopefully my YouTube video will finish processing while I'm up here and have good service right before I start going down back into Pearisburg. There's a cell tower, so I hope that I can get really good reception right there and just sit there and wait for my video to process, because right now it seems to be struggling. It's already taken 5 whole days to upload, and now I just needed to process before 5 o'clock today, because today's Sunday and I'm supposed to put out an episode today. If this episode was supposed to go out on Thursday last week, but obviously we missed that. This has just been a really tough section where service is really spotty because we're kind of in the middle of nowhere. And even the hostels that we've been staying at don't get cell reception and they don't have Wi-Fi. So I've been pretty much out of luck with regards to that. So yeah, we're gonna hope for the best today. And what I'm more excited about than that video is I saw that there's a soul food spot in Pearisburg and it's only open on weekends. So today's Easter Sunday. I'm hoping that I can have a really nice dinner today with some fried chicken, mac and cheese, collard greens, mashed potatoes. And according to the maps, they stay open until 10, although today's a holiday, so I'm not sure if that's gonna be 100% true today, but I hope they are. Well, I just hope they're open when I get to town later on this evening or this afternoon. But yeah, we got about 15 miles left to do today, and I will enjoy a nice 0 tomorrow. Y'all see Gary up there, just trudging up this hill. You know, for a 60-something-year-old guy, he really gets after it. And once he gets out here, he just starts plugging away at the miles. And he's been banging out these bigger 20-mile days with me. So it just goes to show that age doesn't really matter too much. If you want something bad enough and you're willing to go after it and work hard for it, you can make it happen too. Okay, so we made it to the cell tower. I have pretty decent service here, but my video still doesn't want to process. So it looks like I'm gonna have to start the upload over when we get to the hostel, as long as they have Wi-Fi. Good news is we're only about 7.5, maybe 8 miles away. So it shouldn't be too much longer to get there. I mean, Pearisburg is right over there. So we're pretty close. So that's Rice Field Shelter back there. It's about 7 miles north of Pearisburg. And turn around. We've got views as far as the eye can see. And look at all those little towns and developments down there. It's pretty cool. It is 4:45 right now, and I'm about 1.5 miles away from the Paris Cemetery parking lot where Gary and I started our slack pack yesterday. So this little gap is pretty much filled, and that'll complete a 22.1 mile day today, which leaves us at 18 miles, 659.1, I think. I think that's where we started our slack pack today. And I'm excited to get something to eat and take a 0 tomorrow before we make our way up to Daleville. So, yay. Check it out. Just made it to Angel's Rest. I was supposed to be in the bunkhouse tonight, but they told me that a private room opened up. So I got this private room where I'll be tonight and tomorrow night. And I'm excited. I'm about to take a shower and then run over to that Mexican restaurant ASAP.
My son came and got me. We had to go into Tennessee last week, and so he came and got me, and we swung back through Irwin, and the place is packed.
Really?
Like, it looks like a hiker fest.
Ooh. Oh, the bubble.
Yeah.
The bubble's behind. Oh, I was like...
What's up, y'all? Today's Monday, April 18th. It is day 56. And today I am taking a 0 here at Angel's Rest Hiker Hostel. As y'all just saw, it is pouring down rain outside, and the forecast says that it is going to be pouring down raining basically all day today. So doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to go out and hike in that. It's also pretty cold with temperatures around the mid 30s all day. So it's not even gonna warm up much. Gary and I had already planned on taking a 0 today to avoid the weather. So I'm really glad we did that. And I'm really glad I got this private room for a couple nights here. I was really supposed to be in the bunkhouse last night because they didn't have any private rooms available for 2 nights, but this room opened up. So I'm nice and comfy and just chilling. It's about 7:30 in the morning, and I woke up a whole lot earlier than I thought I would, or a lot earlier than I wanted to, but I figured, hey, since I'm up, I'll just go ahead and get started on my next YouTube video. I finally got my 1 video to post overnight, so that'll be going up shortly. It's a day late, but who cares? And I'm gonna start working on my next video today and get that uploaded before I leave this hostel tomorrow, so I won't have to worry about that later in the week. It's about 7:30 in the morning right now. I'm probably going to go into the kitchen and get myself some coffee. And the only thing I really have to do today is resupply, because thankfully I was smart enough to grab my laundry and do it last night while everyone else was asleep. And I got it done before the rain started, so I don't have to worry about laundry today. And I think I'm only taking about 3.5 days of food on this next stretch between Pearisburg and Daleville. I sort of modified my itinerary to get me to Daleville in the next 3 days. They're pretty much going to be 20+ mile days all 3 days, but I don't think it'll be that bad. I was looking at the terrain, and the climbs here in Southern Virginia haven't been nearly as bad as they were in like North Carolina or Georgia, so I think I can handle it. So yeah, today should be a pretty chill day. I saw that this hostel has a chiropractor who also does acupuncture. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little appointment with them in a couple hours. And hopefully that does some good for my shin and my leg. And again, my plan is to take a few days off when I get to Daleville. So after modifying my itinerary, I should be in Daleville by the end of the day on Thursday. And then I'm just gonna take Friday, Saturday, Sunday off next weekend. Or at the very least, I'll be hiking in to Daleville Friday morning, and then I can take the rest of the day Friday and Saturday and Sunday off, and maybe even Monday if I want to. So that's what I'm thinking about, but today is just a 0. I'm about to go get me some coffee and continue working on this next video so that I can chill for the rest of the day. So I'll talk to y'all in a little bit. Getting a quick resupply done at Walmart. There's a new COVID variant going around, so I decided to put a mask on. Yeah, let's hurry up and get this done. Just picked up a few gear items that I need from the only gear supplier in town. I'm fully done with my resupply, and it's not even noon yet, so I have the whole day to rest. Thank you. So we just got back from Walmart and the outfitter. I got my food resupply all done, and I also picked up a couple different pieces of gear, which I will show you all in a little bit. But right now I'm about to head over to see Doc Peppa, who is a chiropractor who takes care of hikers here at Angel's Rest. And I'm also gonna get a little acupuncture session in because I haven't been able to do that since I left home, so I'm excited. Just finished my acupuncture appointment and my leg is already feeling a whole lot better. And she said the effects should really start to come in the next 24 hours. So I'm really excited about that. That's Doc Peppa, who provides the service for hikers. And she recommended that I stay under 20 miles a day for the foreseeable future until my leg gets better. Unfortunately, that does not go with my itinerary that I just sort of changed. I was hoping to maybe push 3 20+ mile days to get to Daleville. So, do I listen to the doc's recommendations or not? I know that most hikers who don't are more likely to get hike-ending injuries, and I don't want to be that. I'm too smart for that. But at the same time, I also talked about taking 3-4 days off in Daleville when I get there. So, we'll see. All right, so I'm just finishing up organizing my food resupply, and I just wanted to show y'all a few gear pickups and swaps that I'm making. So for starters, I think I am getting rid of my Dirty Girl gaiters, which I picked up back at the NOC. The reason for that is because I've been having trouble keeping the Velcro on the back of my shoes. So the way that Dirty Girl gaiters work is that you have to apply the Velcro to the back of your shoes yourself. And the adhesive keeps wearing off, and I have to keep reapplying new pieces of Velcro, and I'm almost out of Velcro at this point, and I'm also just tired of having to keep replacing it. So at the little outfitter here in town, these were the only gaiters that they had available, so I just picked these up. So what's different with these is that, for one, they're water resistant. 2, rather than having to worry about a Velcro piece, I can just hook this part on to my laces like I do with the Dirty Girl gaiters, and then I can send this string under the bottom of my shoe and tie it, and that'll help keep it in place. And then I also have a cincher to adjust to my calf which again will help out a lot better than these Dirty Girl gaiters were. Like, I can't really adjust these, and because I have really skinny ankles and calves, these just sort of slide up and down my leg anyway. So that's one swap that I'm making. Also, with my trekking poles, these little rubber pieces, they're supposed to help keep my poles from like sinking into the ground when I set up my tent. And because they're made of this rubber material, they've been getting pretty worn down. You can see that this one has pretty much come completely off. So I picked up a different set again at the outfitter, which are made of a much more sturdy plasticky material. So I think those will hold a lot better. So these can just be scrapped because, as you can see, they weren't really keeping their shape, and they were just starting to rip apart because my trekking poles, and specifically this piece, always gets caught on roots and under rocks as I'm walking, so they just wear away. And then the last thing that I picked up is this little ankle slash lower leg compression sleeve. So I'm hoping that this might help ease some of that discomfort that I've been feeling in my leg and just give me an easier time getting through the day. Like I've been saying, I haven't really been feeling a whole lot of pain. It's just more so been discomfort that comes and goes, particularly at the beginning of the day, and then at the end of the day, after about 15 miles or so, I start to feel it again. So I hope that this might help. I've tried it on already and it fits nicely. I can wear it under my socks and with my shoes on, so I can hike with it. And I really just hope that helps me out a bit. So yeah, just a quick look at some gear swaps, and this is something that just comes with the territory of through hiking. If something doesn't work out, you just gotta swap it where you can.
So I buy him a beer.
Yeah.
And she was all for it. And he said you didn't drink beer. You know, I only smoked dope.
Yeah.
So I said, well, whatever beverage you like, as many of them as you want.
All right. It is after 10 p.m. and it's time to go to bed. I'd say today was a good day, a relaxing day, a nice day to not be hiking and to be out of the rain and cold. So I'm very glad we took the 0 today. Dinner was great. I went back to the same Mexican restaurant as last night and pretty much just came back to the room, got my next video edited, and now I'm uploading it to YouTube so that I don't have to worry about it this week. And tomorrow, Gary and I will be back off on trail making this next push to Daleville. We've got about 70 miles to do, and I decided that I'm going to listen to what the doc said and stay below 20 miles a day. And then I'm going to take probably 3 to 4 days off once I get to Daleville. So I will likely be arriving to that town on Friday, and then I'll take next weekend and probably that Monday or Tuesday next week off. And I just realized that I've gotten my days all mixed up. Today was day 57, and I think I thought that it was 56, and I've been messing the last few days up. But yeah, this is going to do it for today. We've got a 7:30 a.m. shuttle, so I need to be going to sleep. All right, so this will do it. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Good night. Here we go with this crap again. Where the heck did the snow come from? And why is it still cold? Today is Tuesday, April. What is today actually? 18th, 19th? One of those. And I think I've had my days mixed up for the last few days. I think today Jesus Christ. I think today is day 58. But I kind of lost track a few days ago. So I had to go back and look again back in my videos. I think today is 58. But according to my last video, today would have been day 57 in my mind. But yeah, Gary and I just got dropped back off where we started our slack pack yesterday, and we've got our full packs on today, and we are moving north, making this big 70-something mile stretch to Daleville. I'm really hoping to get there by Friday at the latest. So we've got some 15, 16, 17, 18-mile days, which shouldn't be too bad. It's less than 20 like the doctor said, so I'm listening to what they told me. And I think after today, it's supposed to warm back up and actually feel like springtime again. So let's hope for that. So Gary and I are planning to do 16.1, 16.2 miles today to get to this, I think it's Laurel Creek shelter. So starting off the day with a 2-mile climb back up onto the ridge, and then we'll walk along the ridge line for a little bit, and then we'll go down, and I think there's one more little climb after that, which will take us to the shelter. It's around 35, 36 degrees right now, so it's not the warmest. And as you can see, there's white stuff everywhere, which apparently is referred to as grapple or something like that. I'm just call it snow. And the wind is blowing, so it's a chilly one this morning, but I think it's supposed to warm up some today, at least into the mid-40s, and then it's supposed to get cold again tonight, back down into the mid-30s, and then for the rest of the week, I think it's supposed to be quite warm and sunny. And by the time we get to Daleville, we're looking at some 80-degree temperatures. So that I'm looking forward to. Just got to get through today first. And because the stretch from Pearisburg to Daleville is so long and there's really nowhere to stop or stay in between, we got to carry so much food. So my pack is heavy as fuck. And I just want to send all my cold weather gear home to make more room to pack out more food. But I can, because look at this. But anyways, had a great relaxing stay at Angel's Rest Hiker Hostel. The vibe did sort of change yesterday though, because this large, like 12-person tramley hiked in, and they just pretty much took over the entire hostel and change the whole vibe, which I'm not gonna comment on like who this family was, but I'll just say it was a bit much for all of us who had already been there. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say on that. I don't really feel like ranting today. And I'm just not in the best mood today as it is. So I'm just gonna try to knock these miles out. Today actually isn't turning out to be so bad after all. Yeah, it started off cold and the trail has been slick with snow and ice and filled with rocks, but it's slowly starting to warm up as the time passes and the sun is trying to peek through the clouds, so it's starting to feel much better. And I think the warmest part of the day isn't going to be until 3 or 4 o'clock, where it should be in the mid to upper 40s. So really looking forward to that. But we're still just moving right along today, trying to get to the shelter like we always do. It doesn't even look like the same day, does it? It's so funny how it does that out here. It'll start off so cold and icy and there'll be snow everywhere. And you hike about 10 miles and then all of a sudden the sun is out. It's feeling warmer. Not a drop of snow or a patch of ice in sight. But hey, I'm not complaining. I'm happy that I'm not freezing right now. So we've done about 10.5 miles so far. Just stopped for lunch back at War Spur Shelter. Laurel Creek Shelter is about 5.5 miles ahead. And it's just right around 1:30. So I told Gary that if we decide to stop there, we'd be getting there pretty early in the day. And I think I'd rather take advantage of the now nice weather and try to get a little bit further just to make this stretch to Daleville a little bit easier in the following days. So I've sort of convinced him to go to the next shelter, which is another 12.5 miles away. And yeah, that puts us a little over 20 miles today. So we'll be doing about 22.5, which goes against what the doctor just told me, but you know, in order to get to Daleville by the end of this week, we were gonna have to do at least one 20-mile day, and I only have 4 days of food because I refuse to carry more than that. So I was gonna have to do it regardless. But yeah, my leg is honestly feeling pretty good so far today. That acupuncture session yesterday must have really helped. So yeah, that's our new plan. Coming up, we've got another climb. It's about 2.5 miles long and about 1,700 feet of elevation gain. I have a feeling it's going to be pretty steep, but I just fueled up with lunch, so we're gonna knock it out. Look, it's Laurel Creek Shelter. We made it. And there's no one here. Alrighty. I love when the trail takes us through a pasture. It's so cool. So yeah, we didn't stop at Laurel Creek Shelter. Well, we did briefly to have a snack, but I kind of made the decision for us to keep going because it's only another 6.5 miles from there to the next shelter, which I think is called Sarver Hollow. And we are already about 1.5 miles, close to 2 miles in. So we've only got about 4.5 miles left. So we should be getting there sometime between 6 and 6:30. And I promise this will be the only 20-mile day we do until Daleville. And that's being strategic. Oh goodness, so we are finally done for the day. And honestly, that last climb can kiss my ass. And so can this Blue Blaze trail that takes us down to the shelter. Can you believe we have to go 0.4 miles off trail and downhill just to get to the shelter? And I think the water source is even further down from the shelter. So there's nothing we can really do about it. We committed to coming here today. Well, I did, and I think Gary just kind of stuck with me. But yeah, today was kind of challenging with a full resupply and 3 not so easy climbs, but thankfully that is over with, and the rest of the week we'll be doing fewer miles, and it looks like the climbs aren't as bad. So definitely glad we pushed ourselves today. And my leg feels fine. I haven't had any discomfort all day. So I think that acupuncture session and this ankle / lower leg sleeve is definitely helping. And I'm pretty sure a few days off in Daleville will help also, but that'll be the end of the week. I just went down to get some water so that I can make dinner. As you can probably tell, I'm cold. Temperatures are supposed to drop down to freezing again tonight. So right around 31, 32 degrees. Honestly, I'm like, we're reaching the end of April. Like, when is spring coming? Why are we still dealing with this? I don't think I'm going to be sending my winter gear home anytime soon, because I am not about to be freezing and suffering just to have a slightly lighter pack. But I'm really glad today is over. It was actually really hard, but we did it. And I am ready to go change into my warm sleep clothes and get started on dinner so that I can crawl into my quilt and fall asleep. And I promise you, I am going to sleep really good tonight. And knowing that it's supposed to get so cold, I doubt I'm jumping up early tomorrow. Good morning. Today is Wednesday, April 20th. It is day 59. And yeah, it's about 6:50 in the morning. The sun just peaked over the mountains probably 10 minutes ago. We're all up and starting to move right about now. And thankfully, it's not feeling as cold as it was last night when we got to the shelter. And it's supposed to get up to pretty close to 60 degrees today, so I'm excited about that. It should be a pretty nice day, not a difficult day. Gary and I are only doing about 16.5 miles to get to the next shelter, so definitely not as long as yesterday. So I'm gonna take my time eating a full breakfast, packing up, and then we'll get out of here maybe in the next couple hours. But we've got the whole day ahead of us, and I can't wait. All right, so it's right around 9 o'clock, and we are starting today's trek. Well, actually, to start things off, we've got to do this 0.4 mile climb back up to where the trail actually is. So this should get me nice and warmed up and ready to take on the day. I'm a little cold. My toes are freezing and my fingers are a little cold. So this should help get the blood flowing and warm me up. And as I mentioned earlier, or maybe I mentioned it, but we're only doing about 16 miles today to get to the next shelter, which I believe is called Pickle Branch or something like that. Gary is out ahead of me, and I let him go ahead because honestly, I'm getting a little annoyed just with a lot of different things. So I could use a little bit of time by myself. Today should be an easier day than yesterday. Looking at the map, we've only got one climb today, and it's smaller than all three of the climbs we did yesterday. So that'll be good. And yeah, tomorrow we'll be crossing mile 700, which I'm excited about. Especially because tomorrow is day 60, so it'll be exactly 2 months since I started. But I'll update y'all once I actually get back up to where the trail is. Back on trail. Back up on the ridge. The views are nice this morning. All right, so we're moving today. My body is warmed up. We've got clear, sunny skies and nice views. And my leg is even feeling good. And it actually didn't give me any issues yesterday, which I'm happy about. I still can't wait to get to Daleville to take a good 3, maybe 4 days off trail, because honestly, mentally, I just haven't been all the way here in the last week or so. I've just been feeling a lot of things, and I've been increasingly aggravated with people that I'm around. As much as I have enjoyed being around like Gary per se, becoming a little irritated, not gonna lie. And I'm not gonna sit here and like talk about him where he can't defend himself, but I just need some space for myself and space from everyone, to be honest. So I'm ready to get a hotel room for a few days and just seclude myself a little bit, get my mind right again, and then come out and see who I interact with again. And hopefully I'll start to feel a little better. Regardless, I'm not thinking about quitting. That ain't gonna happen. I'm just like, I don't want to get to the point where I'm cussing people out every day. So I gotta get away. But until I get to Daleville, I'm going to do my best to have good days. I've got all of my favorite podcast episodes for this week downloaded, so I'm probably going to be running through those today. So that'll make me feel good. And then tomorrow, we'll start moving up into the Virginia Triple Crown with Dragon's Tooth. And then I'll probably hit McAfee Knob and Caffey Knob, whatever it's called, and Tinker Cliffs on Thursday. And then Friday I'll be in town. So let's make it happen. I hope anyone who's been watching my videos who is either thinking about through hiking or already in the process of planning their first through hike, I hope that they go into this with realistic expectations about what through hiking actually is and what all it entails. And that's why I try to include a lot in my videos, and that's why I do a lot of talking about what's happening and what I'm feeling. You should understand that walking every day for 5, 6, 7 months, sure, it's a physical challenge on paper. This trail is very physically demanding. You know, carrying an extra 25 to 35 pounds on your back at any given time going up and over all of these mountains, stepping on rocks and roots all day, every day, having to deal with the aches and pains. Like, yeah, that stuff is a big part of it. But there's also a huge mental aspect to this. And the same way that you may feel like you need to prepare yourself physically, I would suggest that you also start to prepare yourself mentally, because this is very mentally challenging just as much as it is physically. And as you all can hopefully see, that honeymoon phase of being out on your first thru hike in the first 300, 400, 500 miles, that wears off. And at a certain point, it just becomes, okay, so I'm just walking every day still. And different thoughts and feelings are going to come up, and you're going to have to figure out how to manage those on your own. There's no one really out here to help you with that. And there's no one to really stop you from giving up and quitting when it gets tough. So you do have to be pretty mentally sound in order to see something like this through. And I don't mean that to say that you have to have it all figured out or you have to have it all together. It's okay to still struggle with things. It's okay to struggle with dealing with different feelings and emotions. 'Cause, you know, I've been struggling while I've been out here, at least in the last few weeks I have been. But you just gotta sort of think about the bigger picture. Think about what your reasoning is for being out here. Think about whether or not you really want this. And hopefully that'll help. But I just know that I make a lot of jokes and I like to laugh and stuff, and I try to make things fun, but I don't want to give anyone the wrong impression that this is just like daisies and unicorns all the time, because it's not. Some days suck. Some days I'm not feeling it mentally and I don't want to do anything. I don't want to get out of my quilt. I don't want to put on my hiking clothes. I don't want to be cold. I don't want to be wet. But I find something within myself that just forces me to do it anyway, because I know that I'm out here for a reason and I plan to see this through. So I just want to say, I just want to reiterate, make sure that you are training yourself for the mental challenges that lie ahead and not just the physical challenges. If views like this don't make you feel good, I don't know what will. How cool is this? It's the Eastern Continental Divide. So what that means is that the waters that run down the west side of this mountain end up in the Mississippi River and they flow out into the Gulf of Mexico, whereas the waters that run down the east side of this mountain end up in the James River, which land in the Atlantic Ocean. That's so cool. Just came across my first snake. Looks like they're out. Just eating some lunch here at Nede Shelter. That's the privy back there. Y'all know I had to use it. The shelter is right over there, and Gary's over there. We only have 10 more miles left to do today. So I'm hoping it'll be an early day, because I don't feel like doing much more than the 16 that we had planned.
Murphy.
Yeah.
Yeah, try to remember my...
Yeah, there's a
Oh
nice
man,
monument
look at
up
that plate, Sue. He's got it right. Look at that thing. You getting a picture of that?
Yeah.
That's Virginia Trail magic.
Well, that was some nice trail magic. Thank you, Sue and Ed. They had hot dogs, fries, freshly made fries, cookies, candy, bananas, tangerines. Oof. And we had just eaten lunch back at that other shelter, but guess what? We ate some more. And I packed out a couple bananas, a couple tangerines, and a Coke, which I will have at camp tonight. We've got about 8.5 miles to get to the shelter. And what time is it? A little after 2 o'clock, I think. So still making pretty good time, and we should still get there pretty early today. Got a little climb coming up, and I think that's the most action we'll probably get today, thankfully. So at different points along the trail, there are these monuments set up to honor the lives of various people. Most of them I've never really heard of, don't know who they are. This monument was set up to honor this person, Audie Leon Murphy, a war vet who died in a plane crash near this site where I am now. I think these are kind of cool. So I figured I would show y'all, because usually I just sort of look at them and keep going, but just to make some aware that these are out here. We have reached Pickle Branch Shelter. I'm just walking down this little side trail to the shelter, and we're done for the day. Hooray! That's almost 17 miles. Another 17 miles closer to Katahdin in Maine. So this pretty much puts us at mile 697. So tomorrow morning, we will be passing the 700 mile mark, and I'll have to take another look at the map once I get here to see how far I want to go tomorrow. So at this point, we can pretty much make it to Daleville by Friday pretty comfortably. So I'm hoping to get there around early afternoon on Friday so that I can still have some lunch in town, and then obviously I'll do dinner in town. And I hope to be nice and comfortable in a hotel room Friday night watching the finale of the current season of RuPaul's Drag Race. That's been my main motivation over these last few days, to get to Daleville by Friday. Looks like we're gonna make it happen. I just need the hotel, whichever hotel I stay in, to have the right TV station so I can watch it. Yeah, let's find this shelter and get settled in and start working on dinner. It really does feel good to have everything all set up when there's still plenty of daylight left. I feel like I can take my time eating dinner and eating whatever snacks I want before I go to sleep. And it feels so good outside. Such a nice feeling.
Did he ask you for water? So we thought there was just something wrong with this picture. Oh, we never saw him again. Like, ooh, I'm gonna have a cup of milk one of these days, and I think I'm gonna do it today because we're gonna be going up over that mountain and fighting all those peaks that y'all have just done.
What did you show the mileage today? Are you counting it at 697.9 or?